Hey, I'm Aaron with Seattle Piano Company, and this is our Yamaha C3 Silent Grand Piano. The Yamaha C3 is probably the most sought after Yamaha grand piano out there, at least on the secondhand market. It's 6'1" in length, so we're kind of leaving that baby grand territory and we're more entering a full grand. So the longer string length and the larger soundboard really kind of lets that tone come out, and you get like a really robust bass. The sustain and the treble is quite a bit better in a 6'1" grand compared to maybe like a smaller 5-foot grand. So really great range of tone there. The keys in a longer grand piano, like this 6'1" versus a 5-foot grand piano, they're actually a little bit longer. And since they're a little bit longer, and I'm talking about the internal length of the key, there's a little bit more leverage there, and they typically play a little bit lighter. You get a little bit more control of the key that way as well. So this is definitely a professional pianist piano. So the C stands for conservatory. You see these a lot in conservatories, universities, recording studios, things like that. Anywhere with a really high demand environment as far as the action you need to perform really well, and something that's just going to kind of consistently have a really great tone. The Yamaha C3 is a really great fit. Outside of this one being a really amazing acoustic instrument, it has a piece of technology built in called a silent system. The way that the silent system works is when you activate it, which in this instance is pulling on this lever here, it keeps the hammers from hitting the strings by deploying what we call a silent rail. So as you're playing the keys, you hear the mechanical action mechanism on the inside making a little bit of noise, but it's not actually allowing the hammers to hit the strings. So you're playing the piano more or less silently. All of that stuff is taken and processed to a digital signal, and then it comes out the headphones, and it's like you are playing a digital piano or a keyboard. So that comes in really handy. Obviously, if you don't want other people to hear you practicing, or maybe you're in an apartment, or just don't want the neighbors hearing, that sort of thing, this works really well. Outside of just being able to play it silently, that electronic signal is really cool. I mean, it's working in the MIDI language, so you're able to line in and out of this. So you could hook up your computer, and you can kind of record into like any sort of recording software that you're using. There's a lot of learning apps out there that would integrate with this on your iPad, which is really cool as well. So outside of just the silent play, it's a pretty versatile system. There's a lot you can do with it. This piano in particular has undergone a pretty extensive refurbishing process. It's a 1995 model, so in piano years, it's actually not all that old. But the company that we're working with in Japan now, anything 20 years old or older, it just gets new strings. That's just how they operate over there. And finding a 1995 Yamaha C3 in town, I would probably not restring it. I don't think it necessarily needs that most of the time, but I'm definitely not going to complain about it. I mean, it definitely is a huge asset. Getting a nice brand new set of bass strings on there in particular really kind of breathes a lot of life back into the instrument. So really lucky to have that work done. So as we're looking on the inside on this thing, you can just see, just visually, the treble wire is really bright and shiny, same with the bass wire here, all the understring felts, the tuning pins, the tuning pin bushings, all that stuff. It looks great because it's brand new, and it's brand new with Yamaha parts, so these are all OEM replacements going on in here. What we would kind of refer all that work being inside the piano is a belly restoration. So this has received a full belly restoration, and then looking at the cosmetics on this thing, looking at the cabinet, it's absolutely beautiful. The company that we work with went through and they polished out all the brass hardware. So this lid hinge here, the pedals, the casters, even the logo on the front, everything is popping and looking really brand new. The finish on here has been professionally buffed. It looks like it was a 2 or 3 stage buffing. There's not even swirl marks from the buffing machine in here, which is pretty rare. It's a mere like factory finish. And to be honest with you, and I don't want to overinflate what this piano is, but a lot of Yamahas, or really any high gloss piano coming out of the box from the factory, a lot of times you see swirl marks because they're using these big industrial machines, and they're not quite as refined as the polishing that they did when they were rehabbing this piano. So the finish kind of looks a little bit better than new, which again, I'm not trying to overinflate what this piano is, but the level of detail for this refurbishing is really, really top notch. They did a really beautiful job here. So the finish looks absolutely gorgeous, looks brand new. Talking about the action here, let's actually take a look at these keys. So all of these keys have been wet sanded and buffed, and there is not a scratch on them. So kind of looking at them with the light hitting the key and reflecting off, which is really how you kind of judge and criticize a finish, whether it's the keys or the cabinet finish. That's where you're going to see the most scratches. I'm not seeing a single even like micro abrasion on here. I mean, these look really, really beautiful. The key tops for the sharps here, this is actually a piece of ebonized wood. It's not plastic, and that's why we can kind of see the wood grain popping through. I think it looks really nice, really elegant. I really prefer the touch of the ebonized wood over the plastic. And it's a pretty expensive way of manufacturing a piano. I mean, this is a top of the line conservatory level piano, and having that ebonized wood on there is definitely indicative of that. Kind of digging into this thing a little bit more, looking at the rest of the action. All right, now that we have the action taken out and put on the workbench here, we have a better look at it. For the most part, this is all original, but there have been a few things that have been replaced. All the keys are original. It's not really a part that gets replaced very often, maybe every 100, 150 years or so. But the key bushings have been replaced, which is actually a pretty big deal. The key bushing is something that keeps the key moving up and down straight. It also kind of keeps the slack out of the key. When they wear down, the brass pin is harder than the felt, so it kind of just wears down over the years, and it can create this side-to-side slop, and it kind of just makes the keyboard feel kind of sloppy. It'll create noise sometimes, but anyway, having all those replaced is a really great deal. Just having a fresh keyboard there. The hammers are also original, but they have a lot of life left in them, and you can kind of tell by looking at the tip of the core to the tip of the hammer here. So there's a lot of felt left on there. These are also walnut core hammers, so they're a really high quality hammer. The hammer shanks are in really great shape. The whip-ins are in really beautiful condition. So visually they look really nice, but also when I went through and did our action refinement, I mean, I could kind of feel how nice they were by making the adjustments that we were making in there. So this thing is in really beautiful shape. Typically, pianos that don't have silent systems in them don't have circuit boards attached to the action, but this is part of the silent system here. And a question I get asked quite a bit with these older silent systems is, I understand that the piano is going to last a long time, but what about the silent system? This is actually a pretty simple piece of technology. There aren't a whole lot of parts involved in it. I've had a lot of these come through. There was only one instance where it wasn't working properly. In that instance, it was all the Gs. Every G in the keyboard for the silent feature was not working. All the other keys worked, it was just the Gs. So I called Yamaha, let them know what was going on. We troubleshooted it pretty quickly, and it was just this piece that we ended up replacing. I think it was 75 bucks. I mean, it was readily available. Two, it was pretty cheap. It was a pretty cheap fix. So it's not very often that things go wrong with these. Again, they're minimal moving parts, pretty simple systems. But if something were to happen, we can absolutely replace that part. I've never run into parts not being available. So this is a really great playing system. The action is in really, really beautiful condition. This is something that's going to have decades of life left in it. All right, that's our Yamaha C3 Silent in a nutshell. This piano is going to come with a 10-year parts and labor warranty, a brand new bench, a free in-home tuning, and our lifetime trade-up policy. So if for some reason you wanted to go for even like a larger piano a couple years down the road or several years down the road, it's indefinite. I'll take this piano back for exactly what you paid for it in terms of a trade credit. So your investment always holds its value with me here at the store. So we've been selling pianos all over the country lately. I just sent out 3 yesterday on a big semi-truck that are going to the East Coast and the West Coast. So if you'd like a shipping quote, please let me know. I'd be happy to provide one for you. My name's Aaron. I'm the only guy that works here, so if you reach out, you're going to be working directly with me. All my info's on the website. We got Lennon coming up here in a second to play a couple demos for us, and yeah, thanks a lot for watching. I totally lost that demo footage somehow, but I still have the audio recording. So if you go to the description of this video, you'll find another video, which is just a static image and the audio of this C3 playing. So check that video out. Let me know what you think, and thanks a lot for watching.